the headlines of this hour on VTV News. Vietnam's top leader embarks on official visit to Mongolia. And Vietnam's state president approves amnesty for over 3,700 inmates. In our world news, tensions rise as Israel-Lebanon conflict escalates.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Good afternoon. It is 3 p.m. local time and you're tuning in to VTV News. I'm Huyền Trần with the top stories. Party General Secretary and State President Tô Lâm, along with a high-level Vietnamese delegation, arrived in Ulaanbaatar on Monday afternoon, starting a state visit to Mongolia at the invitation of President Unagin Khuresu. This visit marks the first state visit by a Vietnamese state president to Mongolia in 16 years. It also coincides with the 70th anniversary of diplomatic relations between the two nations. The visit emphasizes Vietnam's consistent policy of valuing friendships with traditional allies. And during the visit, both sides are expected to discuss key strategies and measures to strengthen political trust and cooperation across priority fields such as politics, diplomacy, economy, trade, tourism, and people-to-people exchanges. This reaffirms Vietnam's independent and a proactive foreign policy of diversification and comprehensive international integration. National Assembly Chairman Trần Thanh Mẫn and the Hậu Giang provincial delegation met with voters in Ngã Bảy City on Monday morning, ahead of the 8th session of the 15th National Assembly. The upcoming session will review 30 legislative items, personnel matters, and other key issues. The National Assembly Chairman underlined the need for flexible lawmaking centered on citizens and businesses, with the goal of resolving institutional challenges and unlocking resources. Addressing voter concerns about anti-corruption efforts in healthcare, the top legislator assured that these efforts are on the right track and are strengthening the party and political system. He also noted that laws on healthcare and worker rights will enhance citizen protection. Furthermore, he urged Hậu Giang to prioritize party building and prepare for the upcoming 14th National Party Congress. National Assembly Chairman Trần Thanh Mẫn attended the second mock session of the Children's National Assembly Initiative on Sunday. The event brought together 306 young deputies from 63 provinces and cities across the country. More in the following.
The session was lively and productive, focusing on questions about preventing school violence and the dangers of smoking and stimulants. The young deputies of the Children's National Assembly confidently posed their questions, while the Assembly's ministers answered candidly and directly, without evading any of the pressing concerns.
School violence has been escalating with many serious consequences. Could the Minister of Education and Training explain what measures have been taken to address this issue?
The ministry will inspect and strictly handle educational institutions if cases of school violence are detected.
Given the rapid increase in the use of electronic cigarettes, could the minister explain what solutions are being proposed to address this issue?
The ministry has submitted a report to the Prime Minister outlining the harmful effects of electronic cigarettes. We propose measures to ban the production, import, and advertising of these products in Vietnam. The goal is to protect everyone's health, especially children. Once approved by the government, the Ministry of Health will announce this policy.
In his address, the National Assembly chairman highlighted the role of the Children's National Assembly initiative in encouraging the early participation of children in political and social activities. He expressed his hope that the events will inspire in children a strong desire to contribute to society, continuously improve themselves to become responsible citizens.
The authorities need to review and improve policies and laws related to preventing violence, child abuse, and school violence, as well as addressing the harms of smoking, electronic cigarettes, and heat-not-burn tobacco products. The issues raised by the children, along with the proposed solutions, were highly practical. Specific tasks were assigned to the Ministry of Education and Training and the Ministry of Health to address these issues in the near future.
The top legislator affirmed that the party and state prioritize the protection, care and education of children and noted that Vietnam's comprehensive achievements in child welfare have been recognized and praised by the United Nations.
Total retail sales of goods in the first 9 months of 2024 are estimated at over $269 million, up 13.5% compared to the same period last year, showing a strong recovery in the domestic consumer market. In Ho Chi Minh City alone, a series of consumer stimulus programs have been implemented, revitalizing the economy. And with intersectoral and interregional connectivity solutions in place, the city is expected to continue promoting growth in the retail and service sectors during the final months of the year.
In the first 8 months of 2024, Ho Chi Minh City's total retail sales of goods and consumer service revenue increased by 10.3% compared to the same period last year. Tourism service revenue saw a significant rise of 65.8%, while retail sales of goods also grew by 10.3%. According to retail business representatives, purchasing power is showing positive recovery. Consequently, companies are focusing on expanding their sales locations, sourcing new products, and improving service quality.
We are committed to supporting the Vietnamese government by ensuring food safety, meeting quality standards, maintaining an abundant and stable supply, balancing supply and demand, and meeting people's needs.
According to the Ho Chi Minh City Department of Industry and Trade, the highlight of this year's consumer stimulus activities is the concentrated promotion program, consisting of 2 phases, each lasting 3 months. In addition, the city also strengthens connections between businesses and raw material areas in provinces and cities.
We're focused on enhancing responsibility to build a sustainable and safe supply chain, helping to bring more and more quality goods to Ho Chi Minh City, and making inspection and control more convenient.
This is also the first year the industry and trade sector has joined forces with the tourism sector to organize stimulus events. This collaboration aims to closely link shopping and tourism, establishing Ho Chi Minh City as an attractive shopping destination.
There will be a series of rich cultural tourism activities until year-end. During this time, the Department of Industry and Trade will also develop a variety of promotional stimulus programs to help tourists easily visit and shop.
With close collaboration between departments and branches, coupled with positive business responses and the continuation of the 2% VAT exemption and reduction policy, Ho Chi Minh City expects a significant boost in trade and service activities during the final months of the year.
To date, Hanoi leads the country with 2,800 evaluated, classified, and certified OCOP products. Among these are 6 5-star OCOP products and nearly 1,500 4-star products. And for products to be highly competitive and appeal to both domestic and foreign consumers, a combination of aesthetics, cultural identity, and quality will create sustainable pathways for OCOP products.
Craft villages have transformed to keep up with market demands by manufacturing products for both domestic and foreign orders and launching new items with diverse designs and functions. The OCOP criteria serve as a common standard for product development in this evolving landscape.
Currently, there are 6 OCOP products, and these products have different designs.
All our horn products are registered. When there is a plan to expand our product range and designs, we must aim to meet the standards required to participate in the OCOP program.
Hanoi's OCOP program finished 1 year ahead of schedule, certifying approximately 2,800 products. The city also plans to implement regular quality monitoring for products that have been evaluated and classified.
We regularly monitor and randomly collect samples for appraisal and quality testing, especially agricultural and food products.
Though Hanoi has the most OCOP products in the country, it only has 6 5-star products. The city's goals for 2025 is to have 3% of potential products registered for evaluation and classification as 5-star OCOP products at the national level.
We should develop more 4-5-star products so that the products have a national market and can potentially be exported.
The ability to export and distribute in the international market is one of the criteria for evaluating 5-star OCOP products. To meet this standard, Vietnam needs to differentiate its products, building and affirming a unique brand for Vietnamese goods on international shelves.
With a revenue of $159 million, South Korea is the largest importer of Vietnam's squid and octopus. Japan ranks second with over $93 million, followed by China and Hong Kong, China, with $47 million. Now, according to the Vietnam Association of Seafood Exporters and Producers, Vietnam's squid and octopus exports generated $406 million in the first 8 months of the year, a slight 3% decrease compared to the same period last year. This drop is attributed to inflation, global economic downturns, and the ongoing IUU yellow card status. Now, before we move on to other important updates, let's take a look at the foreign exchange rates of today, September 30th. Coming up next on VTV News. Vietnam's state president approves amnesty for over 3,700 inmates. And Quảng Nam combines disaster prevention shelter with a community house. Welcome back to VTV News. Now, a press conference announcing the 2024 presidential pardon decision was held in Hanoi on Monday morning. As Vietnam commemorates the 79th years of independence and 70 years since the liberation of its capital, Party Chief and State President Tô Lâm has granted amnesty to 3,765 prisoners. 2 had their sentences suspended, while the rest are still currently serving sentences. These also include 20 foreign nationals. All detention centers will hold ceremonies on Tuesday to formally announce the pardon and also issue certificates to those released. The amnesty reflects the humanitarian policy of the party and state, allowing prisoners who meet the necessary conditions to reintegrate into society. The selection process was conducted transparently and fairly, in strict accordance with the law. And since 2009, more than 92,000 individuals have been pardoned, with most successfully reintegrating into their communities. As previously reported, the press conference on Monday has announced the 2024 clemency decision from the state president. This moment offers many inmates a chance to reintegrate into society, reunite with their families, and rebuild their lives after months of education, labor, and rehabilitation. The clemency review process is rigorous and transparent, ensuring only those who meet set criteria are considered. And many inmates have eagerly awaited this day for a long time.
Nhan was sentenced while she was 8 months pregnant. Her son, now almost 2 years old, has been with her in prison due to a lack of caregivers. She can only spend full days with him on weekends. Serving a 3-year sentence, Nhan qualified for clemency and is set to be released for 4 months early.
When I get home, I'll take my kid out to play. I'll make up for a lost time together.
From an ethnic Nung man from Ha Quang district, Cao Bang, is serving a 6-year sentence for smuggling fireworks across the border. He has served 3.5 years and is eligible for clemency, which would allow him to be released 2.5 years early.
I can't wait any longer. I barely slept last night, just thinking about getting out early.
Over 120 inmates at Phú Sơn prison qualified for clemency. In recent days, reintegration classes has been held, providing legal knowledge and job information. The prison had also issued vocational certificates to help inmates prepare for their release.
We are coordinating with the Thái Nguyên Provincial Police to issue identity cards for inmates upon their clemency release. The announcement day will also be the day they receive their citizen ID cards, helping them reintegrate into society successfully.
As of October the 1st, prison detention centers and district-level criminal enforcement agencies will begin releasing inmates granted clemency by the state president. For many, like Zung, simple dreams will soon become reality. She has spent 11 years in prison.
I'll hug my son and tell him how much I love him. I will thrive to be a good person so he can be proud of me.
Rescue and search operations for those missing due to flash floods and landslides in Bắc Quang District, Hà Giang Province, continued on Monday morning. However, heavy rains with over 600 millimeters recorded in some areas over the past 2 days have raised concerns about additional landslides and occasionally forced search efforts to halt. By 11 a.m. Monday, 2 people have been confirmed dead, 4 were missing, and 8 were injured, according to the Hà Giang Provincial Disaster Response and Search and Rescue Command. Nearly 100 households have been evacuated. Vehicles in affected areas have also been relocated to aid search operations. The risk of further landslides remains high due to persistent rain and saturated ground. Authorities have closed roads and continue to evacuate residents to ensure safety. Now, while northern provinces grapple with the aftermath of Typhoon Yagi and floods in the mountains, the central region faces dangerous landslides and flash floods. Quảng Nam province has urgently evacuated numerous villages at risk of landslides and also developed a plan to help people adapt to natural disasters and minimize losses. As a result, despite the increasing frequency of natural disasters in recent years, damage to people and property has gradually decreased.
Every flood season, hundreds of villages in 12 communes of Bắc Trà My district are submerged in water. Although many houses are destroyed, there have been no casualties. During last year's flood, the water reached halfway up Lai's house. When heavy rains occur, locals in Cha Giak commune are promptly informed and moved to safe shelters.
Thanks to the government's safe shelters, during the flood season, we can come here to live.
The model of combining a community house with a natural disaster shelter has proven effective. Many mountainous districts, including Bắc Trà My, are building one in each village. With the completion of this new house, more than 70 households can feel reassured about facing upcoming disasters.
Local authorities have coordinated with the village executive committee to mobilize people in areas at risk of landslides and flash floods to come live in shelters for safety.
Storms and floods can occur, so measures need to be taken to evacuate people. The district also focuses resources on building shelters like these.
In addition to building houses and developing storm and flood response plans, Quảng Nam province allocates significant resources to adapt to and withstand natural disasters. The province considers prevention and early warning systems to be particularly effective solutions.
In Lào Cai, all students have returned to classes, including those from 33 schools affected by natural disasters in Bát Sát district. However, the risk of natural disasters remains. Schools have taken various measures to support students and their families. They've also helped stabilize lives, assess living area safety, and created safety plans for hundreds of boarding students. To ensure continued education, some schools are using functional classrooms, holding classes in community centers, and even borrowing homes from local residents. These flexible teaching methods aim to maintain educational progress and quality despite the challenges. Hanoi is entering its most enchanting season, autumn, and this time of the year not only stirs nostalgia and inspires countless poems and songs, but also attracts a wave of tourists from across Vietnam and around the globe, all eager to experience the city's unique allure.
During autumn, Phan Đình Phùng Street sheds its usual tranquility and bursts with color and life. The sidewalks are vibrant with the colorful displays of bustling flowers vendors, traditional áo dài swaying in the breeze, and the joyful laughter of visitors exploring the city.
This is my first time taking photos on Phan Đình Phùng Street, and it's stunning. I've always dreamed of coming to the capital to capture beautiful memories.
When my friends visit, I take them to the book streets or the flower streets so they can experience the unique culture of Hanoi.
For Lộc, who hails from a family with 3 generations of green rice flake makers, autumn is her busiest season. She cycles daily to Phan Đình Phùng Street, bringing her delectable treats.
I usually wake up at 4 a.m. to prepare the green rice, then bike to Phan Đình Phùng around 7:30 a.m. to set up my stall for visitors.
While South Korea and Japan are renowned for their stunning autumn foliage tours, Vietnam boasts its own unique Hanoi autumn experiences. Travel agencies have reported a surge in specially curated autumn itineraries, resulting in a remarkable increase in tourists. Autumn touches every corner of Hanoi, inviting locals and visitors alike to step outside and engage with the vibrant streets and immerse themselves in the season to capture the most beautiful days of the year.
Coming up next in our world news. Tensions rise as Israel-Lebanon conflict escalates. And the UK shuts down its final coal-fired power plant. Now moving on to our world news, the situation in the Middle East remains tense as Israel intensifies its attacks against Hezbollah in Lebanon and Houthi forces in Yemen. As of September 30th, Israel announced it has struck 120 Hezbollah targets in southern Lebanon and deep within the country, including a major command center. According to Lebanese officials, at least 105 people have been killed and more than 350 injured in Israeli airstrikes across Lebanon on September 20th. Hezbollah has claimed to retaliate by launching a barrage of rockets at 2 locations in northern Israel, including the town of Safed. Meanwhile, Tel Aviv announced its strike to target Houthi positions in Yemen, located over 2,000 kilometers away, in response to multiple missile attacks launched by the Houthis aimed at Israel. Immigrants have significantly contributed to the U.S. economy, and immigration remains a crucial issue for voters as the November 5th presidential election approaches. Democratic candidate Kamala Harris and Republican candidate Donald Trump present sharply contrasting views on this topic. More in the following.
This hotel in Washington, D.C. is fully booked by the government for immigrants awaiting court decisions. They receive free accommodations and meals but lack work permits, leaving them unable to work. Nearby, businesses have repeatedly urged the government to relocate these newcomers, citing concerns over security, decreased customer traffic, and declining property values. Many of these idle and vulnerable immigrants often become targets for criminal gangs. The Republican candidate cites alarming statistics. claiming that 245,000 crimes, including 13,000 murderers over the past 4 years, can be linked to lax border policies.
If Kamala Harris gets 4 more years, America as we know it will absolutely be destroyed. Already hundreds of people have been murdered because of her action at the border, and thousands more will follow in rapid succession. But this is what we're bringing into our beautiful country, our beautiful USA.
To reduce illegal border crossings, I will take further action to keep the border closed between ports of entry. Those who cross our borders unlawfully will be apprehended and removed and barred from re-entering for 5 years. We will pursue more severe criminal charges against repeat violators. And if someone does not make an asylum request at a legal point of entry and instead crosses our border unlawfully, they will be barred from receiving asylum.
America is a dreamland for immigrants, as many workers with valid permits can begin working immediately. Meanwhile, there are ongoing labor shortages in construction, restaurants, and hotels.
The death toll from the catastrophic flooding in Nepal has surged to 170, with over 3,000 people rescued. In response, the Nepalese government announced a 3-day closure of all schools to facilitate recovery efforts. Authorities are mobilizing resources to clear obstructed highways, disrupting transport between Kathmandu and other regions. The country's hydropower plants and irrigation systems have suffered severe damage, with initial loss estimates exceeding $32 million. Officials expressed concern over electricity supply during the winter, as repairs and maintenance on affected power plants will take considerable time. Now, on September 30th, the UK will become the first G7 nation to end coal-fired electricity generation by closing its last coal power plant. This closure marks the end of over 140 years of coal power production in the country. The reduction in coal usage has significantly contributed to a decline in the UK's greenhouse gas emission, which has dropped by more than half since 1990. Aiming for a net zero emissions by 2050, the UK also plans to decarbonize its electricity sector by 2030, a move that requires a substantial increase in renewable energy sources like wind and solar. As usual, let's move on to the weather forecast. And that's all the news we have for this hour. To rewatch our program, you can download our mobile app VTVgo or check out our YouTube channel VTV4Go. Thank you for watching and see you next time.